out loud.
But this right here, it's a flip phone.
From the snap to when you close it, the cool styling, and having to press the same button 4 times just to get one letter. These are all perks and features of the mighty yet fallen flip phones. So why were they so good? Why are they making a comeback, and why did they die in the first place? Well, Motorola, a company you've probably not heard of for a while, showed the world a glimpse into the future with the MicroTac 9800X back in '89. But come on, does that really count? Maybe you want to say the StarTAC was their first proper flip phone. But either way, they continued to evolve over time and were the pinnacle of technology for a while. That's right up until 2007, but we'll come back to that. The reason that these obsolete phones still hold a special place in our hearts was just because of how cool they were. To me, they're a lot like those crazy but really bad planes that people used to make before they knew how to make a good one. They're just cool to look at. There was so much variety, like the ones that flipped horizontally, almost like an early PSP. Speaking of the PSP, these phones did actually have some gains on them. I remember that despite how simple they were compared to what we have now, they were like crack. Like I had some old Samsung brick that, okay, technically wasn't a flip phone, but all it really had was Snake, and yet it was just chewing through hours of my day. I couldn't get off it. To be fair, even when these phones were starting to be old and a bit outdated, I was still using them because I always lived off of hand-me-downs. So I had a Samsung brick when my friends had an iPod. I still had to go to my dad to ask him if he could download Rizzle kicks onto my MP3 player through his computer. I wish I still had that thing, but in reality I feel like the quality of some of this old technology would be so poor it'd be such a letdown. Back to the flip phones though, they did eventually start to fall behind other phones like the Blackberries and whatever else, so they had to up the personality a lot more to keep relevant. They came in with all sorts of colours and trims, and they did have things like cameras, but honestly you'd probably be better off going home and drawing whatever you saw, because it'd probably get you a clearer picture. They peaked by sales volume in around 2006, with Motorola having shifted over 50 million of its Razr V3s alone. They were normal, but they were also a cultural icon, both at the same time. That is until this guy showed up and ruined it all for us. When Steve Jobs got on stage on this day, it was basically 9/11 for cool flip phones. The iPhone was announced on the 9th of January 2007, and it changed the industry forever. Companies like Motorola just failed to innovate and gradually faded into the past. All of a sudden, it was Apple versus Android, and I'm not afraid to say it, Android is better, with better phones, better innovation, and freedom to, blah blah blah. But I'll keep using my iPhone, thank you very much. So 15 years come and go, we see the dominance of the new smartphones, they get bigger and bigger until they're just getting silly. Some of these are honestly the size of a tablet, and I only have an iPhone 11, and even that I'll drop on my face whilst I'm in bed from time to time. If only there was a way around this. The phones need to be about the right size when I'm using it, but then I want it to also be smaller in the hand and smaller in the pocket. Well, here we are ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, all reliable, square one, the flip phone. This time we're blessed with both worlds. We've got the flip phones and the touchscreens. Now I'll be honest, first impressions were not great, but I suppose that can be said for any new technology. I've seen these in real life now, and honestly they are pretty cool. It's also good to see some of these brands back in action. What we'll probably see in about 10 years or so is Apple making their first smart flip phone, and all the Apple stands will say how innovative it is and how they love iPhones so much. Just don't mention that it was available 10 years ago from a different manufacturer. So there we go, flip phones, they're back. There's also people saying that they're going to go back to the old ones, but they do it for about a week or so and then they're back on TikTok, so I'm going to ignore that. What else do you want to talk about? Let me know in the comments and subscribe to stick around.